Hello. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be working on our Pirate Software Game Jam submission. I have not checked the theme yet, but I think today we'll just do planning and maybe some asset design, and then I'll work on the actual game. It's 2 weeks long, so hopefully we can do something good with this. We have 9 entries already finished, so some people have been hard at work. Ooh. So, the theme is You Are the Weapon. This theme can be expressed in a number of different ways. Maybe you are cursed and become a weapon that other characters have to wield. Maybe you're an interrogated organism that pilots a world-destroying gun. Maybe you're Doom Guy. He's basically just a weapon, let's be real. Or even taking it a different direction, maybe you're a weapon that kills things like viruses and saves people. Whatever the case, you exist to influence your surroundings in some direct way. Have fun with the theme and do something weird with it. Okay. So, let's start. By writing down the theme, and then we'll start brainstorming some ideas of what we can do with the theme. So we have to make a game design document. So this is just an example one. It's not too complicated. You've just got your game summary, inspiration, and different sections to it. So I will link each one in its own section. Hello, Captain Basculin. How are you doing? Okay. I'll just put this under sections. So let's start with the introduction. I'll just link to it in here. So it should be pretty interesting. I really like the theme that we've been given. I think it's a really interesting theme, and I think that we might be able to do some pretty good stuff with it. So we'll do the game summary after we've decided what we're doing. We'll have looks at some inspiration and so we'll do the development software and yeah, and also the platform, I guess. Yeah. So we can do so right, development software. The development software that we're using is Godot. It's just really easy to use. We'll also be using Libre Sprite for the assets. Ooh, and then we might make our own music this time using Bosca maybe. Um, what version of Godot am I on? I think I'm on 4.3.5. 4.3 stable. Um, and I think I'll use JSFXR. Okay. Yeah, for the sound effects. Just because it's really easy to do. Um, and then we need to decide on the platform. I think it'll probably just be a web game. Maybe we'll have a Linux release. The game is developed. Um, so it's primarily for the web, but it will also have a Windows, Mac OS, Linux release. But if they're broken, then we can say it's not our fault because it's not our target. So we will need to decide on a genre, a player experience, some inspiration. Hmm. So we need to do the theme interpretation, primary mechanics and secondary mechanics. This is kind of what I do. It's just it's broken up nicer. Um, so audio, art, game experience. Okay. I'm still deciding on what we're going to do. We're going to have a brainstorming section in here. Actually, we'll call it ideas. Just because it's easier to write out. I'm going to move all of these up by 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Because 1 will be the ideas. / ideas. Save that. So let's just put down some sections. So style. So this can be art style. This can be genre. We can have the camera position. So we'll just put out some different genres here. Some art styles. We could do vector graphics. We could do 8x8. We could do 16x16 or 32x32. I'm not going any higher than that. Otherwise, I'll spend all of my time on the art and trying to get fine details done when that's not the most important thing. So we have top-down side scroll. Why build for macOS if it's a web build? It's not difficult to build for macOS from Godot. It's just not a signed package. So you can build for macOS. I mean, we could just leave it as a web build. Yeah, let's just leave it as a web build. Let's not complicate it with having to download stuff. The only reason that you would download stuff is if your browser didn't support something, which is possible. I know I've definitely had issues with like Firefox and Chrome when trying to run web games on itch.io, but it might be okay. And if it's not okay, I think that we have bigger concerns because it is supposed to be uploaded as a web build. So genres. So it wasn't the last game jam, but it was the one before. I didn't stream any development and I didn't make a video or anything, and it's not on my itch page because I decided to be too ambitious, and after that I decided to start doing game design documents, which have helped a lot for overscoping. But it was supposed to be an RPG, and you're not making an RPG in 1 week. So, unless it's very surface level. So I think we might do... We could try Metroidvania. Metroidvania-like, because I've never played one. So we'll kind of just look up Metroidvania and we'll make a game based on its description, rather than real examples. I do know of Metroidvania games, but I haven't played any. We could do a dungeon crawler. We could do a boss rush. We could do a puzzle game. And it's not just limited to one. We can do more than one of these things. I would say maximum 2. Otherwise it gets a bit complicated. But it shouldn't be a massive issue to do 2 unless they just don't go together. We also need to brainstorm a name. And I'm awful with naming stuff. We could do something similar to a boss rush. I believe it's similar to Vampire Survivors. It's just waves of enemies. Or a tower defense game, I guess. We'll leave it with those 4 genres for now. So, I think I was about to say that we might just go with some Kenny assets, but I did compile Libre Sprite specifically for this game jam. So whether or not I like it, we're using it, because I definitely need to up my pixel art skill. And if you don't know, Libre Sprite is the free or Libre version of Sprite. It's a fork of the last version of Sprite that used the GPL license. So I think I like the idea of a boss rush and also a puzzle game. I like puzzle games, they're fun. So it's going to be a boss rush puzzle game. Maybe we'll decide how we put those two together. Maybe the bosses require you to kind of complete a puzzle surrounded about them to beat them. Maybe you have to do puzzles between each boss. We'll work it out. Maybe you're the dungeon. Maybe you are the dungeon. And it's a boss rush. So the camera is an auto-scrolling top-down camera. And we'll go for 16 by 16 just because it gives us some level of detail. I think I like that idea because it does make you the weapon, I guess. Yeah, we can put booby traps in the dungeon and you can fire the booby traps. I think that's a pretty cool idea. And we're going to go with it. We do need to decide on a name. What's it inspired by? So we'll have a summary here. Summary pitch. Name is a top-down auto-scrolling boss rush game. Boss rush where you are the dungeon. Maybe you don't defeat bosses and you're defeating adventurers. I think that's a good idea. You control the booby traps to eliminate adventurers who decide they want to collect your treasure. Maybe we have some treasure in the center, and the aim is to keep the adventurers away from getting your treasure. Maybe they come in as a group, and then they make their way up, and you have to stop them before they get to the treasure. Or there are bosses in each room, and there's one adventurer, and they're trying to get through to get the treasure, but they don't realize there are monsters guarding it. And your goal is to help the adventurer get the treasure. I think that's a better idea. To eliminate the monsters that block the path of a brave adventurer. You control the booby traps to eliminate the monsters that block the path of a brave adventurer who wishes to take your treasure. So you as the dungeon wouldn't have health, but the adventurer does have health, and your goal is to not let them die. You must protect the adventurer. Yeah. By the way, can you hear me okay? Um. So the player experience. How many bosses am I going to create? Realistically, I think that I'm going to manage to make 3 at least. Um. So the genres are. It's a boss rush. It's a boss rush puzzle game. Well, actually, it's a strategy game. Um, so um, it's a boss rush strategy game. Um, yeah, so it's not a puzzle game. It's a strategy game. Yeah. Okay, this is good. We're on the right track. Um, okay, so we need to do inspiration and the player experience and also the target audience. Um, target audience, summary pitch. And also player experience, which is before the platform. Um, so I know what I can. I know what the inspiration is, but I can't remember the name of the game. It was submitted for a game jam. It's a boss rush. It was submitted for the boss rush game jam, but it's a color-based boss rush. Um, so the player experience. What is this? Okay, so it's kind of the game flow. Um, we'll say we'll decide on the number of rooms at some point. Um, you must strategically use your traps to defeat the bosses. Each of your traps has a cooldown. So you have to be careful that you don't run out of it. That you don't. Trap has a set cooldown. Or yeah, each trap has a cooldown, so you have to be careful that you don't waste powerful attacks. Each of your traps has a cooldown, so be strategic about what you use at what time. Each boss has a unique set of attacks, so be ready for anything. Each boss has a unique set of attacks, so if you're perish, then start again. The bosses will be in a set order. And learn from your mistakes. Okay. I think that looks good. Target audience. Um, um, so I feel like it should be targeted at boss rush enjoyers. And it kind of puts a bit of a spin on the whole boss rush idea. Uh, but want a new challenge. Enjoy the boss genre, but want a new challenge. And for those who love strategy, and for strategy players, the game's good for those who enjoy the boss rush genre but want a new challenge, and for strategy players who like a more offensive side. Okay, the last thing we need to do is inspiration. I don't think I'll put that down on this stream. I will fill this out later when I find the games that I'll be using for inspiration. So we need to do the concept. So it's an overview, theme interpretation, primary mechanics, and secondary mechanics. Gameplay overview, theme interpretation, and secondary mechanics. Okay, so the overview. The player controls a mass of player cells, each with individual stat. So, the player, controls each room's set of booby traps. So the player controls each room's set of booby traps. Um, trap. Hmm. The player will oh, each trap is set. Each trap is set in a certain location, so the player to use each trap. Some traps will have a charge time that will pass before they're fired. And a cooldown time before they can be used again. Interesting. So Some have a charge time that will pass before they're fired, and a cooldown time before they can be used again. The player also use some permanently alter the room, such as dropping a box, or dropping a bomb, to destroy some of the ground, preventing the adventurer or the boss from going there. Each boss gets progressively harder. I guess at the end of each room, we can have an upgrade that you can pick. Maybe all cooldowns down by 1, all charge time down by 1. One upgrade can be picked. To alter future rooms. Um, so I think that what we'll do is we'll have upgrades, and there are like 3 positive ones and 3 negative ones. You pick the negative ones if you want a challenge. Selecting a positive upgrade makes future rooms easier, while selecting a negative upgrade will make subsequent rooms harder. I think that's a good overview. Theme interpretation. You are the weapon interpretation. We can make this a bit bold italic. As the dungeon. Um, as a dungeon, you're not just one but multiple weapons. Weapons being used to defeat bosses. Okay. Um, being the weapon. Um, being the um, rather you I think that we have a not too bad idea right now. Um, the environment is the weapon and you control it. Uh, um, controlled by no one. Since you're a weapon controlled by no one, um, you may injure. You may injure, um, either entity. In the room. Accidentally or not. Um, since you are a weapon controlled by no one, you may injure either entity in the room. Um, it's of the name of the game. Being the weapon isn't being physically held. The environment is the weapon, and you control it. Since you are a weapon controlled by no one, you may injure either entity in the room. Primary mechanics. We'll go back to the theme interpretation. Primary mechanics. We need guess that we're doing um yeah, I guess I'm doing a table. I can't remember how you do a table. I believe it's like this. I don't think that's right. Is it like this? Search GitHub Markdown. GitHub Markdown. Here we go. This is not it. Inlines, containers and blocks, tables. Oh, this is how you do a table. I was close. Right, so I can just write the name of the mechanic in here. And then I can insert a picture of the mechanic here. And all I need to do is just that. And then I guess an image of it. So we'll have the mechanics and then we have an image. The first mechanic is I don't know what you would call it. Secondary mechanics is like upgrades. I just need to the mechanic, the image for that mechanic, and we'll have upgrades. So environmental damage. I think that we need to put So is it just what's this? Cells in one column don't need to match. And what does this look like? Oh, that's alignment. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a regular table. Trailing colon or both to indicate left, right, or center alignment respectively. Oh, I believe that we just continue like this. So then we have upgrades and an image here. Primary mechanics. Random movement. I'm going to do a and then git config global user dot name believe I am correct. No, I think I'm actually, yeah, it's all connected. Now I should be able to do that. Nope, never mind. Oh, I need to do my email as well. Okay, I'll just put it in my email. Okay, we're all good. And then I should just be able to push this to my repo. Hopefully. Game design documents. There we go. Pirate Jam 16. If I go into concept, hopefully, yeah, look at that. We do have tables, perfect. Random movement, awesome. What else do we want? So we'll do each of the booby traps individually. Can I leave this second section empty? I think I can. If I just do another. And then if I just commit that and hopefully it does leave an empty section. It does. Perfect. So if I'm actually going to put a link into the booby traps because I want them to be individually done. I can go here. Trap image. Ooh, this one we have arrows. We'll have we can have a flamethrower. We can also have of course the bomb. We'll have a ceiling. So I just need to put a link in here. I believe it's like this. To that should just update it. Yeah. I think we'll just finish out writing the booby traps and then we'll finish for today. So that we need a crate. What else do we want? Maybe we have some crumbling tiles that you can just place in. And if an arrow lands on them, then they just break. We can also have... What other booby traps do we want? I'm not sure what else. But I think I'll finish there for today. And I'll think of some more traps that I can add. And hopefully this game design document will be a bit more full next time we see it. And I will have, hopefully, some assets. But I think that's where we'll leave it for today. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.